Have you ever heard the saying that getting older is not for the faint of heart? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to dive into the four biggest things that you need to be focusing on in perimenopause and menopause. Hi, I'm Kara, the Christian nutrition coach from the Nourished Body and Soul. Today, I want to talk to you about perimenopause and menopause. See, as we get older, there are so many things that are really important to help us to live an abundantly healthy life and to help us to be able to face every day feeling our best. Now, I am not here to talk to you about your hormones or about things that you should be adding in related to your hormones. But what I do want to talk to you about are the four things that I see that are the biggest keys with my nutrition clients for helping them to stay healthy, well, and feeling good as they enter into menopause and later years in life. So, without any further ado, let's get started because there's a lot of information to cover. So, the four things that I want to talk to you about to support your body in perimenopause and menopause are the things that I like to call the four S's. These are stress, sleep, sustenance, and strength. So, under the title of stress, I want you to think about the things that really get you revved up, the things that seem to make you feel anxious or excited, but not in a good way, excited more of in a way like, I've got to get these things done or else the rest of my day is not going to go well, or this project isn't going to go well. The things that you don't handle well, the things in your life that really seem to just add a burden to your daily living. I think so many of us are like Martha from the story of Martha and her sister Mary when Jesus came to visit them. We let our work distract us from having a sense of calm and peace in our lives. And we let those things become a stress and a burden instead of a joy and a privilege. See, we have real responsibilities that we have to get done, but in order to do those and to do them well, and to also love the people in our lives, we've got to figure out a way to balance that stress with time throughout our day, throughout our week, where we really go introspective and we spend some time with God, we spend some time with ourselves, just figuring out how our body feels, how our minds are functioning, how we're taking care of ourselves. And so just remembering to take a step back from the stressful things in your life and gain a good perspective on what really matters in your life is going to help lower cortisol in your body. And that in turn is going to help you to be able to function better. Your body will function better. You will process and digest food better. And then you will sleep better. And sleep is the next thing that we're going to talk about. That is one of the biggest things that is so important for us as we age. There was a recent study done that says that 88% of women claim that they don't get enough sleep. I mean, that is a huge number and it's very concerning. Not getting enough sleep leads to all sorts of things. It actually leads to depression. It can lead to illnesses. It leads to your body not being able to produce hormones in the right way that it should be doing that because those things are all done at night while you're sleeping. We all know there are seasons in life where we're not going to get adequate sleep, right? A new baby, taking care of someone who's ill, various reasons that we don't get sleep. But if we look at our lives as a whole, we need to be able to get a good quality, close to 7, if not 8 hours of sleep every night. Sleep deprivation highly affects your nervous system. It keeps you from being able to learn new things. It keeps you from remembering things. It can inhibit your coordination. It can lead to depression, as we talked about. It affects your immune system. And two things that my clients are always surprised to hear me tell them is that not getting enough sleep actually affects your hunger and fullness cues in your body. See, there's two hormones called leptin and ghrelin that are produced in your body at night while you sleep. And if those aren't made in the right quantities while you're sleeping, the next day you're actually going to feel hungrier and you're not going to notice when you're full enough. So think about when you're really tired. What do you want to do? Often you are going to turn to foods that give you that dopamine hit, processed foods, things that you overeat. And our bodies are naturally going to crave more carbs. And when I say carbs, I don't mean the good stuff. We're not going to crave broccoli and sweet potatoes. We're going to crave M&Ms and M's and chips. And when we're sleepy and tired and we're reaching for those processed items, then we're going to overeat those things. And it just causes this terrible cycle in our lives. And so that leads us into our sustenance. See, our sustenance is just the food that we take in, right? And so it is all about really planning what you're going to eat as far as whole foods and being aware of what you put into your mouth, being aware of what you're putting into your body, not falling for schemes on packages that tell you something's healthy, but actually reading ingredients, planning out a good balanced plate of a good quality protein, really great carbs like vegetables, even fruits, and then having good healthy fats in there like avocados and coconut oil and nuts and seeds. Those types of things are the things that are going to help your sustenance become something that leads to a good foundation for you as you enter into the later years of life. Also, in regards to our sustenance, we've got to move away from a diet mentality. So many of us have spent so much time on diets in our 20s, 30s, and 40s. And it is so important to move away from the mentality of, I'm going to obey rules about what I will and won't eat. So instead, what I like to teach my clients is how to create your own guidelines about what you will and won't eat and versus what you can and can't eat, because that's what diets tell you, what you can and can't eat. And what happens, we get so wrapped up in, oh, I can't have XYZ items on the diet that I'm on. And then we become obsessed with those items. And that's where people fail on diets, is that they just can't abide by all the rules. So we need guidelines in our life that we can stick to, but that can be flexible. And we need to eat enough whole food in order to sustain our activity, our hormones, all the things that we've got going on in life as we age. And then lastly, our strength. I think that so many women are so afraid of two things. They're afraid of getting bulky by lifting weights, and they're afraid that because they've never lifted weights, it's too late to start. But let me tell you a story about a client of mine who was 74 and she started weightlifting, and she had had a bone density scan done right before she started weightlifting. And then she had a bone density scan done about a year and a half later, and every bone in her body had increased by 150% in strength in a year and a half in her 70s. See, working out is not just for weight loss or for your physique. Working out is super important for building muscle, because muscle is what makes your bones strong. And as we age, we need strong bones so that we don't fall and break a bone, so that our bones are stronger to be able to help us to be able to do the things we need to do as we age. So I would so encourage you to find an exercise that you love and to do it, and to do it consistently, but also be sure to include weightlifting in your weekly plan. The greatest gift that we can give the people we love is the healthiest version of ourselves. And that is never more true than when we are in perimenopause and menopause. Being the healthiest version of ourselves helps us to feel good, to be able to continue to love the people in our lives, to serve the people in our lives. And it also will keep us as healthy and abundantly living as possible for as many days as God has given us on the earth. And so, what I want to encourage you is make your decisions for your health as you enter into perimenopause and menopause based on the love that you have for the people in your life and for yourself. And make those decisions based on the things that are actually going to do you good and not the things that you're afraid of, such as feeling like you're going to look a certain way, feeling like you may gain weight or lose weight or not fit into the mold that society has put for you. but instead, let's focus on getting healthy so that we can live well. The love of God will motivate us to take care of the temple that He lives in. And so I just want to encourage you today, sit down and make a plan. What are the things in your life that stress you out? The things that you need to either take off your plate, or the things that you need to gain a new perspective on so that you can reduce cortisol levels in your body from those things. And then, how is your sleep? How are you functioning? How are you sleeping at night? If sleep is a problem for you, which it is for a lot of people as they enter into their older years, it's so important to find something that will help you to sleep well. And then your sustenance, how are you doing on your nutrition? How are you putting things on your plate? How are you focusing on your food and your food quality? And lastly, your strength. What are the things that you're doing to move well and to keep your body functioning and keep your body going in a healthy way? If all of this sounds exciting to you or overwhelming to you, I'd love to help you be able to figure out how to make these 4 things work well in your life. So I'm going to drop a link below in the description of this video so that you can contact me and we can set up a free call and we can just discuss what's going on in your life and see if my nutrition coaching is going to help you to be able to get to the place that you want to be.